What's going on?
I just don't. My hoodie's like kind of large, so it kind of looks like. Sometimes on camera, it kind of looks not baggy, but like chunky. You know, I like a big hoodie. Like I enjoy big hoodies.
Dude,
Like, that's my
been
style.
so comfortable recently for some reason. Like,
dude,
like just ridiculously comfortable. I don't know what. Like,
this hoodie has that like soft, like a blanket on the inside.
What?
It's a powerful hoodie, dude. Like I dropped a pretty penny on it. I mean, not that expensive.
Powerful.
It's great, but it's also
Holy
like sometimes this hood and like I like when people tie their things like in a cool way. So I tried that, and it's not really like, I don't know.
Interesting.
I like it, but I'm not like satisfied. You know.
Alrighty.
Whoa, dude! This is from Swan Tattoo in Jacksonville. How'd you find this?
Deja, dude.
Oh, she had an
dropped
interview
off
here.
a little
Yeah.
couple, I guess that. I don't know why, but. Oh man, what do we have here?
Man, I don't think I washed my cup. It kind of smells like stale water. Dang it.
That's beautiful, right?
Kind of smells like grape.
How many flavor notes do you think are out there just floating around because somebody forgot to wash their cup?
Dude, extra fermentation. I don't know.
You want some Jolly Rancher? Just leave it in there, let it melt a little bit.
I've also like cut down on my like anxiety level of like washing my cup. Like I used to be super picky about, man, I can't use Dawn. I can't use like any certain soaps or dishwasher.
You caved in.
Now, I stopped using Cafiza. I'm like, dude, toss it in the dishwasher. It's fellow, dude. It works.
Dude. Oh, I love nuking stuff with Cafiza or Purocaf.
Yeah.
It's just like, I just love it. Like getting the grime off of things. You just throw the powder on, rinse it with water, and it's, I don't know what kind. There's got to be something
That's
really
what scares
powerful
me.
in there that it literally kills everything. Like,
no stain, no nothing.
we honestly
dude.
should wash the floor with. All right, that's a story for another time.
Soak.
All right, what's going on here?
Close, very close.
I mean, it's great.
Do you think it's a dialed brew?
I don't want to sound like I'm not satisfied again, like Edwin said, but it's great.
Yeah, coffee tastes good. Yeah, I would say it's good. Yeah,
On the brew side, it's great. You know,
to a degree, it almost feels like a cop out. Like, can you really mess up this coffee? You may be able to like make it better, but because it's so wild.
yeah, it's really wild.
Yeah, it's really wild.
But it's also like, it's not bitter. It's not sour. Maybe a little sour.
It's a little sour. Mm-hmm.
But it tastes fine.
Yeah.
It's like a sweet bomb, a juice bomb.
Yeah, juicy I think would be a little. This might be jammy versus juicy.
Sure.
I don't know.
Sure.
Can you distinguish that?
I'll
You know
take
what I mean? I mean, I think
it.
like coffees with like insanely bright acidities are juicy. This has like nice acidity, but it's not the same acidity that at least I'm used to. Like recently, I've just been obsessed with Bourbon varietal, and that's because of that acidity. I'm always like picking that out in a cupping, like, oh, like, is that a Bourbon? Yeah, okay. And you know what I mean? But this coffee doesn't have that acidity, but it has this like berry sweetness that's, you know, also.
Well, I guess what I mean by juicy is that it's like you're right, jammy might be the better word, but it's like a jam compote. Like,
yeah,
it's like a juicy in the sense of like it tastes like juice.
yeah. I see
Like
what you
it's
mean.
really sweet. Like it just tastes like, I don't know, fruity berries or whatever. But yeah, it's definitely more on the jammy side than it is probably on like an actual juice.
Right.
Because those just pour.
I think when I think of
choice.
juicy, I think of something that makes my mouth water. That's why I affiliate juicy with acidity, because that's what acidity does. I like it. I'm down. That was actually the last brew. I just, for this batch, don't have any more of the coffee.
Excellent. That's the way it should have been.
Yeah.
Done. That's it. Yeah, it's solid. I don't know if I drink this like on an everyday basis.
No, pretty wild.
What's the coffee?
Sweet Valley from Manhattan. It's a Columbia natural anaerobic.
Anaerobic?
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty sure. Believe so.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like a very classic, natural with like big just flavor that's like slapping you in the face and stuff. So, yeah, it's great. It's great, honestly. And I'm actually pretty pumped about this brew.
Yeah.
It's like, it's hitting the spot. So
Again, it doesn't compare to the Diego coffee.
I'm not talking about this again on this podcast. If you haven't had any of that Diego Bermudez, I think, coffee, folks. But honestly, I was talking to a buddy. I think that's the one I sent him. Honestly, might be the best anaerobic, natural, kind of in that realm of processing coffee I've had in my life. It was on this podcast.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I
would say the same thing.
And I don't think that anything's gonna top it anytime soon. That's how just far out it was for me. And yeah,
having it here on that episode was like a very memorable experience for me.
Yeah.
The only other one before was when I had the Panama Geisha at Verve. And that was like in my early days of coffee. So definitely was memorable. But this is, probably my favorite coffee I've had in a long time.
Yeah. It was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. What do you have here? You brought us some kind of podcast prop.
Dude, it's definitely a prop.
Dude, why didn't you wash out your
I don't wash it. I only use the air thing and blow it out and then dry it.
Why are there
Because
grounds in
I
there?
didn't bring it with me, and I've been brewing the same coffee. So I thought if the EK didn't work, I was going to use this to brew.
Gotcha.
That's how much I believe in this grinder. Dude, it's a legendary grinder.
It's
so
pretty
good.
insane. Like, it's also pretty insane to think that like it's a hand. First off, it's kind of insane to think that it's a hand grinder that costs so much. What was it, like almost close to $400?
Almost, yeah.
Yeah.
It was more than my owed, for sure.
That's
Way
insane.
more.
That's insane. Like, it has no electronic parts and it's that expensive.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I remember the first time me just getting into specialty coffee, was a while ago, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. I may be mistaking, but, our sister got me a hand grinder. It was the Hario hand grinder, the Hario Slim. And, it cost maybe like $30, $40. And for me at that point, you're like, wait, why does this hand grinder cost $40? Like,
Yeah.
insane. I mean, I feel like that's how most people respond to. They're not in coffee, like they're not coffee enthusiasts. Are like, why would I on a hand
Right.
like? But I remember, Rachel got me the hand grinder with a bag of, I think it was the Banco Gotiti from Primer, very great coffee, and I had the Hario gooseneck kettle with
classic.
like a V60. The most basic setup.
Dude,
It wasn't
that's
even
the Hario dream.
Yeah, it is the
Yeah.
Hario, like the trio.
Yeah.
It wasn't even the kettle that warmed up. Like it was just like a stovetop.
Hot water, yeah.
I remember like rinsing it with hot water, dumping it out, and then pouring the boiling water in. You're still losing like a lot of temp, which sucks. But
And you got the Hario scale at that point, right?
yeah. The Hario scale, yeah. And so like that. But when I first kind of tapped into and started to learn that, hey, there's adjustable grind sizes on a grinder and it makes a difference in your flavor profile. Even though the Hario, it's an entryway, like legitimate entry. Like it's not even a spectacular grinder. Like there's a lot of things wrong with it. However, there's a lot of things right with it.
Yeah, totally.
Like the fact that it's cheap, it's an approachable price point. It's still portable. It grinds coffee, and there's adjustable grind sizes. Is kind of like almost everything you need,
right,
for getting into coffee.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, within the idea of like changing grind size, you can basically use it to brew any form of, brew method that you would like, whether that's on the go, like you're out going camping and you had I don't know, like French press, or you're at home and you even wanted to make some batch, you can, grind twice. Yeah. So I think that's what makes it also like great, because of you can bring it everywhere. Yeah. That was my desire for hand grinders, was like, I can take this with me anywhere I go. And that's why like this grinder, like this is my first hand grinder, but I carry it everywhere. Like it goes basically, like, because I travel a lot with my backpack. I mean, not like airplanes, but within town even. Yeah. I walk around with my backpack that always has my camera and laptop, and now it's the grinder. It's one of those pieces. Like, even when I'm going to the cafe to work, and I'm like walking around town and I have a $300+ grinder in there. Like, please don't rob me.
Yeah. Take the camera, take the $3,000 camera, take the laptop, whatever. Not the
grinder. Leave the grinder.
Leave the Comandante for grinder.
But I and the funny thing is, I think folks would like underestimate, like, if you don't know anything about like coffee or just grinders in general, like, it looks cool, but it doesn't look like flashy like you would imagine. It's pretty simple. So the simplicity of it is also like my biggest draw for hand grinders. And with this grinder, I'm shocked at the quality of like just coffee that I'm able to experience with it. And I mean, I don't know how much I want to dive into, because we keep talking about making a separate video for this. Yeah. But like the last week, I basically stopped grinding with my Ode. Yeah. Just because it doesn't give me enough range, and this grinder kills it.
That's insane.
And it's a hand grinder, and it's quieter. It just takes a little more work.
More work. Yeah. Not that much, actually.
Not
also,
much.
Because it shreds through beans like insane.
It's fairly
and
quick.
One thing, like the Hario, I'm glad I used that for years, because that taught me what it feels like to grind coffee, literally manual. Like, you're using the most strength possible to grind coffee on the Hario. On the Comandante, or I also recently got the Timemore C2, I think. That, when I first grind coffee on it, which was like early summer this year, I was like, wait, what? You can grind that fast? Yeah. Like, I mean, coming from like a Hario where you're like just grinding and grinding for 21 grams.
And the grip on it is not that great.
It's not great. Yeah. The Timemore, I'm just like, boom, like it's just done. And you're like, wait, I could go for another, another brew. And so that's one thing that I've actually enjoyed about the Timemore, is that it's so much significantly faster than the Hario. Yeah. I mean, the burst is completely different. I believe the Hario had the ceramic burrs, and I think the Timemore has the stainless steel burrs, but I may be completely wrong. But it's like a whole new ball game. Right. But also the Timemore is shocking, because it's actually giving me like pretty decent consistency. I can get a pretty decent cup out of it. It's not perfect. There's, it's like $100. Yeah. But if you're in the price point of like, cool, you want a solid grinder, but you don't want to spend an arm and a leg, and you don't want to quite do like $150 Encore, I would actually recommend potentially the Timemore C2 over the Encore.
I was thinking
it's kind of weird, and I don't know this. I have not done any scientific testing. Please don't quote me. Yeah. But from what I've noticed from using the Encore at one point and now the Timemore, it's actually it actually holds up, and the grounds look pretty decent, and you can get some tasty cups out of it. Yeah. Pretty impressive. And it's only $100.
Yeah. I used your grinder for a little bit, and I really enjoyed just the ergonomics, how it works, how you hold it, even the, what's it called? The container where it collects the coffee grounds. And I enjoyed all of it. So like, because I used your Hario one, then went to the Timemore, and then y'all bought me this for my birthday. And it took me a while to get used to the size of this. 'Cause I can't wrap my like whole hand around it. So it's a little like chunkier and heavier. What I loved about your Timemore is it was easy to hold, and it had that texture on the outside, kind of the metal, like almost like sandpaper-ish.
Which is good and bad.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's good for one or
Right.
two grinds, and then on the third one, it
your
feels like
hands,
literally
yeah.
your hands are getting sanded down.
Blasted. Yeah. But I like the grip on that.
Yeah.
And I liked how the big advantage of this is much quicker than your Timemore. Yeah. And I think it just has also a bigger crank. So therefore you're able to push more going through with this one.
That's I think one thing I noticed when we first did that unboxing was that I was just shocked of how durable it felt. It literally felt like you're holding like a baby tank. Like it's got some beef to it. Like if I were to think like an EK and hand grinder version, that's what I would think. Like
For sure.
it feels beefy, it feels heavy, which heavy does mean you have to use significantly more energy.
Yeah, more energy
Because
for sure.
it's heavy. Like you have to actually hold it up, as weird as that sounds. My Timemore Slim, or maybe no, it's not the slim version, but the C2 is both light and it's a little skinnier, so your whole hand can actually wrap around the entire grinder. And the grip helps as well. So all those things make it very extremely like user friendly. But on the other hand, I actually may not be for everyone, but I love beefy things. Like for those of you in the camera world, I used to own a Canon 1DX Mark II. That thing was a boulder. It was a brick, like huge. And there were cameras that were like half the size that could have done pretty much the same thing. And I still love the bigger form factor. It's heavy, it's durable. Like I know I could take that through, a rainstorm, snow, anything, all the conditions, and it's going to handle it. That's how I feel with the Comandante. Like,
that's a fair comparison. Even the knob is like nice and chunky. You know what I mean? Like, you're totally right. It does feel like if you would compare the two to cameras, this would be like a 1DX versus a mirrorless. Like the Timemore would be. But then when it comes to what you said, like brought the EK up, I think this, from what I understand, obviously we haven't tested that. I don't even know how you would compare grinders because it depends on your calibration and grind like setting and all of that. But from what I hear is like this grinder here grinds the quality of its grinding, or I don't even know, say the quality of the grinds is better than, I don't know. It's like complicated words. Anyway, is better than the EK. In that folks in Brewers Cup competition have used the Comandante and won with
That's
it.
insane.
I watched this year's competition and I don't remember for sure if one of the competitors used the Comandante, but they had these little these little containers. They look like glass, but they're made out of something else on the stage. So I was like, cool. I wonder if they used it. Yeah. So like that tells you a lot that this is like next level quality.
Yeah.
Also, what I've been doing with it is doing double grind. And I got that from Cole.
Yeah, that's
so.
Kind of
I
funky.
basically go like, if I know I want to grind on like 16 clicks, I'll go to like 36, do a first round, dump it back in, and then go to 16. So always 20 more. And then a couple days ago with this coffee, the Sweet Valley, I went on my ode, went to 6. Ground it coarse in my ode because it's flat burrs, and then ran it through here. These are conical burrs on like the actual grind setting. Like I can't really say what it did because I only did it twice, I think. But it was also interesting, like the consistency like holds up. This grinder does amazing things with fines. Like it's very consistent. But I think you have the sieves.
We did get the groove.
So we should run through. I need to dive into that world more. I know, kind of get the concept of it, but I don't really know what each measurement actually means or what it looks like. So we'll have to dive into that.
For sure. Yeah, I think that just speaks for itself that somebody competing on a world class, competition would literally bet his competition on the hand grinder. Like that's a big deal. So, if you're looking for like a really insane world-class grinder, but you don't want to spend, the EK costs $3,500 or something, or $4,000, or I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah. if you don't want to spend that much, or like, whether that's the niche
I was
or,
gonna say, yeah.
I mean, my Baratza Forte, amazing grinder, but also almost cost $1,000.
Yeah.
The Comandante cost $400, and I get it. You're going to use some more manpower, but it holds up with top tier grinders. So, and that's insane that you can, I'm not going to say that you can get it for so cheap, but the exchange for quality that you get, that the potential is pretty crazy. Like,
yeah. I mean, the results I get in the cup is pretty significant in comparison to the Ode. Yeah. And that's the only thing I can compare it to. And the Ode is not one of those, like, I feel like it's just not fair. They're not on the same playing field. I wish I had the niche. I should run more like tests with the EK. That makes sense to me. Yeah. But with the Ode, it just doesn't. Like, they're not on the same playing field.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
It's been awesome. It does make me sad that I have the Ode and I don't use it, and I use this more.
That makes me happy.
So, no, it's like, I try to use the Ode now just because I should use it. Like, it's I don't know. It sucks.
It's there. It takes up space.
Yeah.
But yeah. And I mean, we have not yet quite taken this out on some good adventures. I think that's one of the best things about hand grinders is that it's a hand grinder, which means you can grind fresh coffee or literally on the go minutes before you brew. Now, it's not the end of the world if you like go out somewhere outdoors or you're out somewhere and you grind that morning of. Chances are your coffee's probably going to still taste amazing.
Yeah, totally.
But the experience of having a hand grinder out in the wild, outdoors, like you're there, you load up the small little hopper, you're grinding away. There's like freaking eagles soaring above your head. Yeah. Going down for a swoop in the river or something. Stay tuned. That will be a video soon. If you haven't watched our very first one, which was we brew our first ever roasted batch. Dude, good times. Actually, I think I'm going to go home tonight and watch that. But anyways, that is just like such an epic experience. Like you have your little jet boil or your water heater. I mean, you've been bringing now, you got a different kind of brewing mechanism, which I think we should do a separate podcast on how to brew outdoors.
Oh yeah.
Entirely. I think that would be fun. Yeah. But yeah, like you have a completely different setup than I do, but both work and it's fun. And the fact that you can brew some pretty spectacular coffee outdoors and you don't need an outlet, you don't need any power. Yeah. You're just like, it's just so raw and bare bones.
Yeah,
it's dope.
I love that.
And even
it's
like,
so cool.
I mean, this is a little way wild, but like on my way to Ireland, I just asked the flight attendant, hey, can I get some hot water? And she brought me back just a cup of hot water, and I'm just grinding on the plane.
The aromas.
Yeah, it's powerful. Yeah, the aromas. People are like turning around.
Dude,
like,
it would be funny if someone like stood up, looked back, like, hey, is that a natural? Sure is.
What's your total brew time? But yeah, so like I just loaded up my AeroPress, right there on the plane, plunged away. It was a great experience. I mean, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's spectacular. I love that hand grinders are getting so next level and so good. I actually like the Comandante so much where I'm like, okay, I know you have one, but I kind of want to get one. Just
that'd be dope. Kicks. No, that'd be dope.
Maybe I should sell my Forte.
Oh, I don't know about that. That's right. Very good.
That's dumb.
grinder.
Don't talk me. Don't talk me out of that.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited for. I am bummed this year we didn't get to just go outdoors a lot. But like everything you're saying about the outdoors, it's a whole nother experience.
Yeah.
And to be able to bring such a powerful tool with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially it just, like I said, hangs out in my backpack all the time. You know what I mean? It's sort of heavy, but it's light enough where it can go anywhere with you.
You never know when you might need some.
I know.
You never know when you might run into somebody who needs some coffee beans ground.
Yeah, a little, I have like 5 minutes here. Let's brew AeroPress really quick.
No big deal. Yeah. Alrighty, folks. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode on hand grinders. Yeah, that's about it. and comment below. What are you grinding on? Do you have a hand grinder? We'd love to know. What do you think about the Comandante? Anyways, hope you guys have a great weekend. Cheers.